relaxation. I'm just gonna complain today. I'm gonna file some grievances into, the oblivion, into the ASMR oblivion. But before we get into it, what we gotta do? We gotta do some channel maintenance, some channel hygiene. Channels are houseplants. So, if you are new here, welcome to my nonsense. If you're old here, welcome back. Oh geez, if you're new here, please consider hitting subscribe. And if you're old here, go double check. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like. If you like, leave a comment. It could be anything related to the video. It could just be hello, a few emojis, whatever, as long as it's cool and respectful. Hit the notification bell. As always, I will link my tip jars down yonder in the description box. No pressure whatsoever, but every $1 or $2 helps. That's what allows me to continue to make content. Also, if you like complaining, I have a few of these over on my Patreon. You're invited to my Patreon. The link will be down below. We are growing over there, and it's just a place where we can talk without sharing it to the entire world. When you share stuff on your regular YouTube channel, anybody can watch that, like your relatives, ex-friends, whatever. Okay, so where do I start? Well, I got my mammogram and that came back good, so we're good on the mammogram. That only gets you 1 year, and you still are supposed to do checks every month in between, okay? But that really ramped up my health anxiety on other things that I have going on that I should probably go get checked out, and things just, they don't get better on their own, a lot of things. So, but here in America, sometimes we have insurance plans that have huge deductibles, and so you put off a lot of tolerable things until they're intolerable, or even after. I do not know why we can't adopt. Can't is the wrong word. Why we won't adopt another plan. And people will say, well, it's too expensive. Yeah. Have you paid insurance? That's pretty damn expensive. Okay. Or people will say, oh, well, look at the countries with, other plans like universal health care. They have to wait forever to see a specialist. What state do you live in that you don't have to wait forever to see a specialist? I remember when I had a eye twitch that started at Christmas time, okay? I tried everything. I googled what can you do for this, blah blah blah. I think then I started getting like twitches everywhere, but it was mainly the eye, and I like filmed it because you film stuff while they're happening, because if you go to the doctor, it's not gonna happen. So I filmed it a few times, like, okay, this is happening like every day, several times a day, and that's just your GP, right? That visit alone, it's not a preventative, it is a diagnostic visit, or like a screening visit or something, I don't know. Diagnostic, right? It's gonna cost you $200 and some. Then you get a referral to a specialist, right? That's gonna run you another whatever, $100 and some maybe. But that, by the time I saw that specialist, it was, I think, April. So it started at Christmas. I went mid-January to the doctor. I got into the specialist in April. And when I tell you that sometimes you will wait for a specialist for 4 months, for 6 months, there are sometimes year waits on stuff. First of all, you could not make it if it's something serious. Like twitches. Twitches could be nothing, and they could be something major, like brain-wise. But they don't care. I lost my train of thought, but like, if you need scans, thousands, like what? Sometimes you wait isolation syndrome, so, and I still get it, and I know that it's brought on by stress. And it mimics like some pretty scary stuff because your whole body is twitching all the time. Don't Google that. If that happens to you, don't Google that. So yeah, I brought on all this health anxiety. Speaking of like poor medical care, right? I remember going in pretty much on the floor in pain, like the worst pain I ever felt in my whole life. I drove myself to an emergency room. Got a speeding ticket, like a lighted, auto speeding ticket on the way. Got there, could barely say my name, couldn't even barely get out what was going on with me. And they finally get me into like the bag and give me a pain shot, and so I tell them what's going on. And they had the nerve to tell me it was probably my period. I'm in my late 30s. Do you know how many periods I've had? And I was like, what? Bye. Okay, thanks. They didn't do any scans. They didn't do anything. Guess what it was? A kidney stone. Wouldn't that be something you'd, like, probably think that would be the thing to check? Kidney stone, gallstone, like something like that. That hospital had a 2-star rating. It was the closest one, and I didn't really know how bad it was. And then my grandma recently had a gallbladder attack, right? And she goes to the emergency room, and she got in with her doctor, and her doctor said to take gas X. No, she was in pain. And her doctor told her to take gas X, so she went home and did. Then she went to the emergency room, and it was not just a gallbladder attack, but it was like an infected gallbladder attack. So thank God she went in. It could have been way worse. It could have went septic. Like, and I don't think that a lot of the doctors even, they're like, oops, I messed that up. My bad. That's a lot of them. It's not all, but it's a lot of them. It's in my experience, I've had more kind of I've definitely had more doctors that didn't give a crap about anything than doctors that did. And I know we don't want to put a heavy load on the system. I get it. So some things just, well, see if it goes away, or let's try some conservative care, but we gotta figure something else out. I don't know why a lot of dingbats don't care about this. Because you know why? Because a lot of people don't care about something until it happens to them, and that's bizarre to me. That is bizarre to me. That human beings don't recognize a problem with something until it's their problem. That's bizarre to me. Very bizarre. Very sus. So what else do I have to gripe about? Oh, I'm firing a client right now. She doesn't know it yet, but with one of my jobs, I do cosmetic tattoo, and I had a chronic reschedule. I've had a few kind of chronic reschedulers, but one of them was messaging several weeks in advance, so I let it ride. So I'm like, okay, this is a few weeks in advance, that's okay, but it still puts a burden on that business for you to be pulling hours off the calendar that aren't available to somebody, and then, I didn't offer it because you had it, and then you didn't need it, so now it's back up, but maybe it's, anyways. One of them, now I was warned about this one by somebody else. But I was like, well, it's just this service. Like, I could do this service with my eyes closed. Like, what could she possibly, you know? But then when I saw a close-up, like, on what she had going on, I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. I don't know where you got this done, but there's a lot going on here. I was like, I could do my best, which is what I always do. I don't care how much I hate the business end. I like the work end, you know? But it's not gonna be like working on somebody that has good old permanent makeup or fresh skin or anything. Like, I'm working on covering something up and it's always gonna be there. I'm just kind of tuning it, you know? So, you know, I did that service and she liked it, and, you know, she needed to come, but she messaged me in between like, well, this is going on. I'm like, yeah, but you knew off jump that this is going to take, it says at least 2 sessions, but it says right there, if you got some other stuff going on, it might take more, and you are paying by the session, right? So she's like, oh, okay, you know. So she comes in again and she finishes that service. Well, she gets her second session for that service and she books another service. She books something else. So I'm like, okay, so far so good. I'll do the next thing for her. Well, then come like all these chronic reschedulings and I'm like, she's wearing on me. She's wearing on me. And like one time she showed up, I think 45 minutes early to an appointment. No text or nothing. Like, I'm like, what? Just kind of weird stuff was happening, and she was just messaged me more than I thought was necessary. So she comes in, and I know that these people got. I just know that, okay? I can tell you how I know that, but I know that. But everybody in my book is treated the same. People with do not always tip well or treat you well. Some of my best clients are like people making, you know, very modest incomes. And I set my prices to service people with as much as I can. But I'm past the stage of taking shit, you know? So anyway, she starts rescheduling a lot. And like every time it's coming up on her appointment, she's like, oh, I'm gonna need to do it on this date. What else do you got? Cause this, cause that, cause, oh, I wanna do it right before this so that I look good for, like, I'm like, and I do it a few times because she was booking like a couple services, and I'm like, well, she said she wants all this other stuff done, so I guess I'll put up with a little bit. And then like 2 days before I was supposed to see her yesterday, and 2 days ago, she messaged me. She's like, hey, I need to cancel my next 2 appointments. And I finally like said inside, we're done here. And all I replied was, okay, exclamation point. And I'm gonna let that sit in limbo for a while, and then she getting blocked. She's getting blocked, and she said, well, I also want to do, and then she threw in another service that she wants down the road, and I'm not doing that service because I've seen, like, I don't want to work on that part of her. Like, I've seen it, and it's not gonna have good results. Could it be improved? Yes, but I don't want to be the one to do it. It's not worth the amount that I actually take home from that service. It wouldn't be worth it to me. Hours of work, and I'm really trying to be more gentle on my neck. I have osteoarthritis, and I think I have other problems going on. Who knows? But my osteoarthritis gets worse and worse every year, and certain things that I do and certain jobs really irritate it. And I'm gonna have to drop off my menu, and I'm gonna have to cut down. Like, I don't know what else to do. You get one body on function at full capacity anymore. At my age, like, I can work out, but when it hits, it hits. When it hits, it hits. Okay, like, so, trying not to be, like, so sad about it. It is what it is, and, I'm just trying not to be, I think the word's ableist, where I think I should be able to do as much as people that don't have this going on, which is what I tend to do. I tend to hold myself to these standards that are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't do that. And I got a whole nother kid to raise here, so I gotta make this body work somehow. Whatever I got going on, I gotta do what I can to preserve it and to, I don't know. Also, our temperatures have dipped, and, I'm in the Midwest. Now we're in the upper 30s, and the upper 30s, after you've had some 70s, feel way too crispy. Way too crispy. So, that's certainly annoying, and I hate spring. Not gonna lie, I know people love spring, and I like the sun, I do, but I don't like the spring as a liar in the Midwest. You'll look out and you'll be like, whoa, like today, oh wow, the sky is blue, not a single cloud in the sky. Looks like a gentle breeze. And then you get out there and the cold whips you across the face. Like, it looks, if you just looked out my window right now, you'd think, oh, that's a beautiful 60-degree day. 30s. And the wind is always stronger than it feels. I have very sensitive ears and ear holes, which is why I don't wear earbuds while I'm filming. I did for a while, but I can't. I can wear AirPods at the gym or for a walk sometimes, but wind. So not only do I have to wear something in my ear that I can't stand, I can't not. If I am out in the wind, it only takes about 10 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes, and I will get pains all through my head. I've been that way since I was a kid. I have to wear a hat. So if I'm in a pinch, I will take like toilet paper or tissue, rip it, and then just like stick it in there so I can go outside for a little bit. I don't know, does anybody else have this? What the heck is it? I've had it since I was a child, and I remember like being told like you're too sensitive about everything. Well, yeah, I was. I have a sensory system that is on overdrive. Okay, so if you have kids that complain about the weirdest things, trust that they just want to play. They would not be bringing this stuff up unless it was like felt like the end of the world. God, I should do a video. The list is so long, but if I did a video on all the stuff like that drives me absolutely like, for instance, right? If I go to, wash a dish and just a little water gets on like this little tiny piece of my sleeve, I will lose it. I cannot go on. Can't go on. So, and some people, well, we're all a little no. Saying we're all this or we're all that, like if you have, it's kind of like saying, well, we all pee. Yeah, but when you start peeing 100 times a day, you might have a issue.